Your personal competitive advantage, the hidden power most young people ignore. Most young people grow up hearing the same advice: choose a stable career, follow what everyone else is doing, just pick something safe. But stability is an illusion, and the crowd is not a strategy. The world is changing too fast for that. What truly matters, what decides whether you stand out or fade into the background, is your personal competitive advantage, the unique combination of strengths and instincts that only you possess. This advantage is not always obvious. In fact, it often hides beneath years of societal expectations, academic pressure, or the desire to fit in. Many young people spend more time comparing themselves to others than understanding their own natural design. Yet the moment you shift your focus inward, everything begins to change. Your personal competitive advantage is built from 4 core components. The way you think. Some people analyze deeply, some see patterns instantly, some question assumptions, and others simplify complexity. These thinking styles often form in childhood, but rarely are they recognized or valued until later in life. What you do exceptionally well without forcing it. Maybe you communicate clearly, remain calm under pressure, solve problems creatively, or absorb information quickly. These effortless strengths are the seeds of greatness, but they require awareness to grow. Your natural working style. Are you a lone wolf who thrives in independence, or a collaborator who brings groups together? Do you love structure, or do you excel in chaos? Knowing this is like discovering the operating system of your life. Your values and philosophy, the beliefs that quietly guide your decisions, even when you don't realize it, shape the choices you make and the path you ultimately walk. When you combine these 4 elements, you create something no one else can replicate, your signature advantage. This is the source of your confidence, your direction, and your long-term leverage. The truth is simple. You don't beat the world by being better than everyone at everything. You win by being different. And here lies the twist. The more competitive society becomes, the more valuable your uniqueness becomes. In a world full of noise, sameness, and imitation, your authentic strengths are your most powerful signal. Once you discover this advantage, you no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to recognize and chase you. Soros' lesson: create your own style instead of copying. In a world obsessed with templates, formulas, and 10 steps to success, George Soros stands out as a radical anomaly. He didn't just break the rules, he wrote entirely new ones. While most investors tried to mimic Benjamin Graham's value strategy or Warren Buffett's long-term patience, Soros charted a path that seemed almost reckless to conventional thinkers. He crafted his own identity, the global macro speculator, a style so bold, so unpredictable, that few even dared to attempt it. This is the essence of Soros's lesson to young people. Following someone else's map will never lead you to your own treasure. When Soros looked at the markets, he didn't ask, "What are other investors doing?" Instead, he asked, "What am I seeing that others are overlooking? What truth is hiding behind the crowd's assumptions? How can I connect the dots in my own way?" He approached the world like a grand puzzle, not solved through imitation, but through originality. For young people, this lesson is electrifying. Today's culture pushes you to follow influencers, replicate business models, or copy the habits of billionaires. Yet what made Soros extraordinary wasn't imitation, it was courage. The courage to trust his thinking, even when no one else understood it. Many young people fail not because they lack talent, but because they bury their individuality under layers of borrowed ideas. They try to write their story with someone else's pen. They try to win the game by playing with someone else's strategy. But Soros shows that true power comes from creative independence. Your style isn't just a method, it's your identity in action. It's how you interpret the world, how you make decisions, how you respond to uncertainty. When you create your own style, you stop competing directly with the crowd. You operate in a space where comparison becomes irrelevant. You become unpredictable, uncopyable, and irreplaceable. And ironically, that makes you far more dangerous and far more valuable. Soros didn't become a legend by being the best copy of another investor. He became a legend by being the only version of himself. For young people, this is a powerful crossroads. You can spend years trying to fit into a mold that was never made for you. Or you can break the mold entirely and build a path that fits your mind, your strengths, and your spirit. Your future doesn't require you to be a second-rate version of someone else. It requires you to be a first-rate version of yourself. Stop following the crowd. Choose the path that fits your nature. One of the greatest illusions of modern life is the belief that the crowd knows where it's going. Young people often assume that if thousands are choosing the same major, the same industry, or the same career path, it must be the right direction. But the crowd is not guided by clarity. It's driven by fear, habit, and the desire for safety in numbers. The truth is uncomfortable, but liberating. The crowd rarely leads to greatness. Every generation repeats the same pattern. When technology booms, everyone scrambles into it. When finance rises, everyone rushes to banking. When social media explodes, suddenly everyone wants to be an influencer or content creator. And yet, only a tiny fraction succeed, not because opportunities are scarce, but because most people walk into them for the wrong reasons: pressure, trend, and comparison. This chapter delivers a hard but essential truth. You cannot build an extraordinary life from borrowed dreams. Instead of asking, "What's everyone else doing?" young people should ask deeper, more personal questions. What does my mind naturally excel at? In what environment do I perform at my peak? What work makes me feel alive, not drained? What values are non-negotiable for me? These questions reveal something far more important than market trends. They reveal your internal compass. When you align your path with your nature, you unlock a level of performance and resilience that no trend chasing can ever match. Imagine two young people. One follows the crowd into a safe career. He works hard, but everything feels heavy, forced, and exhausting. He performs adequately, but never exceptionally. The other chooses a path aligned with her strengths and values. She may start slower, but she gains momentum. Her progress compounds. While others burn out, she evolves. While others doubt themselves, she grows sharper, more confident. The difference is not talent, it is alignment. Your nature isn't an obstacle to overcome, it's a blueprint to follow. When you understand it, you stop fighting yourself. You stop forcing your mind into shapes it was never meant to take. You begin walking a path that feels natural, powerful, and authentic. And here lies the twist. When you stop chasing the crowd and start following your nature, you no longer fear competition, because no one can compete with you on a path uniquely yours. Greatness does not come from speed, it comes from direction, the direction that fits who you truly are. Take big bets. When the opportunity is clear, the mindset behind life-changing leaps. In every extraordinary career, there comes a moment, rare, unmistakable, and almost electrifying, when everything aligns. The information is clear, the preparation is complete, and the opportunity stands in front of you like an open door. Most people see that door, but very few walk through it, and even fewer run through it with the decisiveness that defines legends. George Soros was one of those few. His bold decisions weren't made out of recklessness, they were made out of clarity. He studied deeply, questioned endlessly, and examined every angle until the truth became impossible to ignore. When that moment of clarity arrived, he didn't hesitate. He acted with overwhelming force because he understood that rare opportunities don't knock twice. For young people, this principle is life-changing. Not every moment in life deserves a big bet, but when the right moment arrives, you must bet boldly, or the moment will pass forever. Most people never experience a breakthrough, not because they lack talent, but because they respond to big opportunities with small energy. They analyze endlessly, doubt themselves, wait for perfect conditions, or commit halfway. Their fear of losing blinds them to the cost of inaction. But there is a certain magic in boldness, the kind that pushes you forward before fear can pull you back. Making a big bet does not mean closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It means you've studied the terrain, you understand the risk, you know your strengths, and your conviction comes from evidence, not emotion. It's the difference between gambling and calculated courage. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path is smooth and safe, paved with the comfort of predictability. The other is steep, uncertain, even intimidating. but at the end lies exponential growth. Most people choose the first path because it feels secure, but secure roads seldom lead to extraordinary destinations. The bold road is frightening, yes, but it's also where transformation happens. Every major leap in life, the career shift that defines you, the project that changes your trajectory, the relationship that shapes your future, comes from recognizing a rare window of opportunity and stepping through it with commitment, not hesitation. In the end, life rewards those who act with clarity and courage. Soros understood this. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't act timidly. He moved with force, knowing that decisive action during the right moment can reshape destiny. For young people, the message is powerful. Prepare deeply, recognize the moment, and when it arrives, bet big. The journey of youth, building a strong and unshakable personal identity. Youth is often described as a period of freedom, but few young people realize just how powerful that freedom truly is. It is not simply the freedom to choose a job, explore hobbies, or try new lifestyles. It is the freedom to fail without being destroyed, to start over without losing everything, and to shape your identity before the world tries to shape it for you. This chapter is about reclaiming that power. In your youth, the stakes feel high, but in truth, they are lower than they will ever be again. Later in life, responsibilities stack like bricks: family, career, financial commitments, social expectations. But in your younger years, you possess a rare form of leverage. You can experiment boldly. You can chase opportunities, pivot directions, explore unfamiliar territories, and learn deeply from every misstep. While others fear failure, youth allows you to weaponize failure. Every setback becomes a sharpening stone. Every challenge becomes a test of character. Every detour becomes part of your unique map. But the real treasure of youth lies in something even more powerful: the creation of your personal identity. Identity is not something you are given. It is something you build through choices, habits, and the values you decide to stand for. Some people grow older, but never grow into themselves. They spend decades living on autopilot, drifting between expectations, never discovering what truly makes them alive. You don't have to be one of them. When you use your youth intentionally, you begin to craft a version of yourself that feels authentic, resilient, and unmistakably unique. You learn what motivates you, what drains you, what inspires you, and what you refuse to compromise on. You start discovering the environments where you thrive and the missions that ignite your ambition. Your uniqueness becomes your signature. Your perspective becomes your advantage. Your growth becomes your story. And here's the twist. Once you build a strong identity, the world stops pushing you around. Opportunities start aligning with who you are. People start recognizing your strengths. You no longer chase validation because you've already validated yourself. This self-knowledge becomes armor. It becomes your compass. It becomes the foundation that supports every bold step you take in adulthood. In the end, the true purpose of youth is not to get everything right, but to build the version of yourself capable of facing anything. Use your youth to explore. Use it to evolve. Use it to become unforgettable, not because you followed the crowd, but because you finally learned to follow yourself.